Hey everyone, this video is going to be particularly helpful for any of you that are stuck at, I would say, an intermediate level. So let's say 15, 16, maybe even 1400 on chess.com. Just in my personal opinion, getting to 14, 1500 more or less is mostly about not blundering pieces, learning tactics. That's basically the gist of getting to 1500 in my opinion, but to go beyond is not always so clear. And a lot of people that I talk to, you know, get to maybe 16, 1700 and they're like, I don't know what to do because all my opponents just play so well a lot of the time. It's not as if they're just blundering their queen anymore, right? You're not facing, you know, I don't know, you're not like getting a you're not getting like scholars make crap, you know, anymore. Like this is not happening anymore. They're playing more and more solid. What do you do? Well, one piece of advice that I can give, guys, and this is arguably the most enormous contribution to my progression from like 16, 1700 to 1900, just shy of 2000 at my peak, is to punish your opponent's mistakes, especially the small ones. It's those small little inaccuracies and mistakes that you need to start spotting and punishing, not just when your opponent blunders a piece or a queen or so on and so forth. So I have a little compilation of some games, some rapid games that I've played somewhat recently, and we're going to go through them, and I'm just going to show you guys where my opponent made a mistake, how I capitalized on it, and how I ultimately won. So keep in mind, guys, this is also, you know, this is 1900 play. It's not like we're not looking at Grandmaster games. But so d4, knight f6, we get a London system with d5, and I'm going to go through these somewhat quickly, okay, until we get to the interesting part. Okay, so my opponent plays knight h5, which he's already breaking an opening rule. So they're already breaking opening principles. That's one thing. They're moving the same piece twice in the opening. It's not that this is an awful move. It is attacking my bishop, and I like my London bishop. So, you know, it's an understandable move, but you're moving the same piece twice in the opening. This bishop is defended. Anyway, so knight h5, I decided to go bishop g5. Yeah, it's kind of annoying because they can't touch the e-pawn. And so yeah, game goes on. Okay, c5, c3. Here, I see the opportunity. I see that they cannot play, they can't touch the e-pawn, so they have not used the e-pawn yet, and they cannot, or they lose the queen. And as far as I can tell, I'm like, that's a free pawn. I'm going to take on c5, which I don't typically do because it's a free pawn, all right? So that's the first mistake, I would say, by my opponent. I decide here to trade the bishops. I traded because there's a discovered attack, and I'm winning another pawn. I am now 2 pawns up. That's it. That's enough to win. As long as you know how to convert, you're fairly confident with your endgames. This is an easy win. So the game goes on. My opponent tries to play tricky moves, but just ultimately did not work, and he blundered his queen. And the game was, oh no, he blundered a knight, I'm sorry. And the game was over. Second game here. All right, so Indian game. I've played this particular variation, although more with d6 so many times. But let's just skip ahead here. This is all pretty typical, you know, in the London system. There's some stuff that varies, but the ideas are always pretty similar. Sticking your knight on e5, trying to prevent your opponent from getting their knight on e4, and then you get like the Carlsbad structure, and knowing how to play that. But anyways, let's just go forwards because we're looking for when my opponent makes a mistake. Because up until now, everything looks okay. Actually, let's start on the game review so we can see the mistakes and all that. So yeah, up until that point, I don't think the computer's going to say there were any serious blunders, anything. Yeah, everything's fine. Taking, I guess, on d4 was technically a mistake, but whatever. This is still somewhat even. Then here we have bishop d7. I hadn't yet spotted. Computer marks that as a mistake, but yeah, it's not super obvious. The best move is to just castle here. So I go queen e2, and I think I just developed my queen. I castled, and then knight e4. And this one is more of a just spotting tactics. But that is also part of it. If your opponent makes a mistake, it could be they're just giving you a free pawn, giving you a free piece, or they're blundering a tactic. And in this case, it was blundering a tactic. I happened to spot it. I saw already that this bishop's hanging, and I can take that bishop whenever I want. And if I take that bishop, queen takes. This is a skewer or a fork. fork. So what am I going to do? I'm going to remove the defender, because otherwise if I just take right away, he's going to take with a knight, and this doesn't really do anything. That's defended. Yeah, he has to move this knight, but he could like literally just go back there. So first, I pin this knight. He's got to address that. And he doesn't. He missed it. So I take the knight. Boom, I take the bishop, and we get a fork, and that's winning a piece. The game goes on, but from here on out, if you guys watch my last video on, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll be my next video. I'm recording multiple videos, so, but I made a video on the Python method and constricting your opponent. So basically winning a pawn or two, or even better, a piece, and then just slowly grinding your opponent down, right? Not giving them any chances, prophylactic moves, playing forcing moves. So yeah, at this point, I know I'm winning. I just need to play simple moves, not complicate the position. I'm going to stick my knight in the middle. The game goes on, but yeah, it's really a... Oh, and then they just blunder their queen. So there you go. Another thing to keep in mind, guys, is this is, you know, basically a 1900. We're still blundering queens here. So you really, really need to be on the lookout for mistakes. Next game, just to really like drive this home, guys, a lot of these are always, they're still coming down to mistakes. So anyways, this game's a little bit different, a little bit unorthodox. This is Polish defense, and I don't particularly know how to play against this, but as you guys will see, okay, game goes on, everything's pretty hunky-dory. Let's actually turn on the game review so you guys can see it's not like it's awful, you know, up until now it's totally fine. I even made a mistake. Queen c2 is apparently a mistake. Yeah, because he gets this really wicked pawn chain. So I am actually worse out of the opening. My opponent plays f5, which looks like is a blunder, and already I'm spotting some tactics. Like these light squares are just begging to be infiltrated. So f5 was a blunder. He brings the queen out. Check. He cannot push g6 because it's defended. I'll just take it. And I think I can actually even take with the knight. Can I? Knight takes is fine. Bishop takes is best. Anywho. And so he spotted that he can't push. But still, all the same, he moved the king down. And I guess he could have gone, let's see here. Could have gone here. All the same, it's a fork. So yeah, there's no way for the king can't actually move to d7. So he's getting forked either way. I win a rook for free, by the way, out of the opening. And then, yeah, he's not even getting that knight back. That's it. Rinse and repeat. Like, spot tactics, obviously, but just look for those mistakes, capitalize on them. We'll look at one more game here, and this is a good example of when your opponent just plays bogus stuff that is not following opening principles. So let's start on the game review to see what the computer thinks. Not to say that my gameplay was perfect here, but like f6 is already a mistake. This is not, as far as I know, this is not an actual opening. I do see it a lot, but they're already getting into some murky waters here. I guess the bishop on g4 is fine, but they're really just kind of doing the throw your pawns at your opponent and intimidate them type tactic. And at higher play level, especially in classical chess, you can't do that. You just can't do it, or you're going to lose. If someone is thinking even slightly, of calculating even in the slightest. So you need to know how to punish that. And in this case, let's see, I'm already a pawn up, right? So I'm a pawn up. I guess we're thinking, I don't know. What were they thinking here? Okay, they're going to attack my bishop, and then I don't know what they were thinking. It's just a pawn up at this point. We trade, they push, they still don't take my pawn. So in this case, honestly, like here the computer says just take the pawn. I don't know why they didn't. That would be, in my opinion, their first mistake, is like, be greedy. Pawns are pawns. If you are not giving your opponent a crazy attack or positional advantage or something, then a pawn's a pawn, and you're take it, you know, and they didn't take it. So now I'm 2 pawns up, actually, yeah, 2 pawns up. They refuse to take that pawn. And here, what am I going to do? I made a mistake here. I guess I could have taken a b7, but yeah, I just thought, well, okay, like, he's moving my king over and he's gonna give me check, and this is just kind of, this just looked kind of nasty. I just thought, well, I'm 2 pawns up, let's just trade pieces. And here, for sure, black should have played, I think, queen takes d1. Computer says it's best before, so throwing in that intermediate move. They didn't though, so another mistake there, because now what am I going to do? I'm 2 pawns up. I'm going to trade queens. In here, I'm going to protect against the fork. And then it's a pretty simple plan in my eyes. Bring the rook over, force a trade off the d-file. Even if he takes here, I do not care. Or bring the king up maybe to like e2, looks like a good square. There's no light square bishop. And then I'm just going to force trades, contest the d-file. Easy win. So yeah, that is all I have for you guys. Just to sum this up, this is really particularly for players that are stuck at an intermediate level at 15, 16, even 1700. Maybe this is useful for players above that. I don't really know because I'm not above that level. Well, above the 2000 level, but the idea is that you have to punish your opponent's mistakes, specifically your opponent's seemingly innocent, harmless mistakes. Losing just a pawn or just 2 pawns, you can no longer do that. If you do that in like tournament, OTB tournament games against somewhat serious club players, they will punish it and they will beat you. They will not play just like, you know, meaningless moves. They will have a plan and they will punish you for it. So start to adopt this mentality of not just what am I going to play, but what is my opponent going to play? What do I know about opponents at this rating? Well, they make mistakes. They still make mistakes. Guys, people all the way up until 2000 promise me, I promise you, they make loads of mistakes still. You know your opponent is going to make mistakes, very likely. You wait until they do, and you punish it, and you be on the lookout, be aware, right? Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helps, and if you are interested in another video that can help shift your mindset, if you're stuck at really any elo, whether it's 1000, 1500, or even 2000 elo, then you can click in the video in the center here on why every move matters. I hope it helps, and I'll see you guys in the next one.